I wish to know why there is an increase in the number of time loop stories we're getting from Nigerian filmmakers nowadays. It'd be nice to know if a certain R&D agency has made some startling discovery that the government is using the media to prepare us for whatever dystopian future that is worse than what we're currently living in. I may have a thing or two to get off my checklist urgently. If you know anything about this, please let me know. ASAP. In the meantime, not too long after we endured Japa, a tale of magical ants and sweet adeswa, we settled for The Beats, led by the incredible Zainab Balogun. As the movie opened, a part of me was thinking that if this movie turned out to be bad, it was the last thing I ever watched. At least, I got to see Zainab one last time.
This is love, this is love, this is love.
The Beats features a wedding day murder put on a loop.
You say what?
I'm not kidding, that's what it's about. The synopsis reads something like this. A bride-to-be's wedding day ends up doubling as her death day. For some not so subtly put reasons, she keeps repeating the same day and fights for her life, in the hope of turning back the hands of time, leading her on a journey through the tangled web of human emotions. I wasn't planning on taking The Beats seriously when it first began. Not sure what it was I was signing up for going into another movie that barely had any promotional material put out ahead of its dumping on Prime Video. I'm not gonna lie, I went in for Zainab Balogun. It's been a while since I saw a movie starring her, and if you've seen Sylvia or any of her other incredible body of works, you know already that she's a class act, one who typically pays off the time invested watching her on screen. That said, I feel bad for all these filmmakers who have eaten Bezos' money ahead of time, now have to live through his streaming service's decision to unceremoniously exit the country and watch as their hard work joins the rank of films destined to go collect dust on the blue shelf. At least they were paid, but it does suck. We might do a separate video listing all the films that have been sent to Prime Video to die since the January 2024 announcement. At least, if that can give the films another chance at life, it's worth a shot. This is where we're going to pretend we're doing it for purely altruistic reasons and not in the hope that the video goes viral and this channel with it. Make sure you subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss out if and when that does happen. Now, back to the movie. The early minutes of watching the beads unfold almost wore me off, but I stayed for the plot. Yeah, thankfully my dividends soon started to come through somewhere around the 12-minute mark. The good. Zainab Balogun. She's a fascinating actor and I can't get tired of singing her praise. Even in times when things flutter in the beads, her performance is the anchor that keeps us grounded. The mystery posited by the story is another thing I liked. It kept things interesting. We were invested in getting answers to some of the questions raised. Who is Ronke's shooter? What does he want? Who is the strange guy at the beach? What does he too want? And who or what is behind all of this? These questions are important, and the beads takes its time to spread out the answers in a way that isn't baffling or boring. The exploration of the theme of forgiveness, both of oneself and others, adds another layer of depth to the narrative. While Ronke tries to forgive herself for past mistakes, her assailant grapples with self-forgiveness to let go of the grievance that sparked the desire to harm her. This plays a pivotal role in breaking the time loop, illustrating how personal reconciliation can lead to profound transformation. I can't help but sneak this in here. The beat gave me a beautiful on-screen grandmother-granddaughter dynamic I enjoyed seeing, and that scores it some extra points. The bad. The beat does a commendable job with its execution, but I wish we had better insight into the psychology of the characters caught in the storm of the time loop. Almost as soon as the time loop logic is established, Ronke pulls aside her grandmother and tells her,
I have been reliving the same day over and over again.
Ideally, this wouldn't be a problem, but we the viewers have only seen her do this once. Yet in this conversation, she alludes to having lived through the scenario multiple times. I admit this could be a simple case of a character exaggerating to drive home a point, but Ronke's actions and expressions in that moment don't match the heightened expectations her words raise. Fast forward to a few scenes later, more specifically the second time loop we the viewers see on screen, and Ronke tells her girls, more accurately this time,
I have lived this day twice.
We now know for sure that there is a disconnect, but your guess is as good as mine if it originated from a script that didn't get vetted properly or tough editing choices on the cutting floor. Whatever the case, these inconsistencies cause harm to fully take in the story's world and the characters' reactions to the events happening. The beat had some other issues with its in-universe continuity that also disrupted its believability in handling the time loop concept. One very noticeable example is the TV screen in Ronke's room. Each time she came back to life, it kept changing, showing a very different program from the last time. This was very distracting and undermined the viewer's immersion in the story, making it harder to fully invest in the time loop narrative the film was trying to convey. Something else, while not as bad as the others, but I still feel inclined to mention it, is the film's dull choice of color grading. It detracts from the overall viewing experience. The muted palette makes scenes feel less vibrant and alive, contributing to an aesthetic that feels and looks cheap. This choice, whether intentional or a result of production constraints, diminishes the visual appeal and makes it difficult to fully engage with the story. In conclusion, against the high tide it faces, the Beats manages to tell a good story. By the time the narrative reaches its midpoint, it has laid out most of its card and established important questions for its characters. Unlike some of Nollywood's attempt at time loops in the past, such as Day of Destiny and the more recent Japa, the Beats takes a grounded approach, focusing on character development and emotional depth, rather than relying on fantastical elements more than it needed to. This grounded approach not only adds authenticity, but also allows the audience to connect more deeply with Ronke's journey. As things start to wind down, we get our answers. No unnecessary plot twists, just a simple character-focused story with the titular Beats as the MacGuffin at the heart of it all.
We happy.
This might be an unpopular opinion, but I think the Beats will make it to my list of favorite Nollywood films of 2024. In my opinion, the movie has more good things going for it that make the Rocky experiences considerably less important the longer it goes on. It comes recommended. Go stream the Beats on Prime Video. Thanks for watching and listening up to this point, guys.
Thank you.
If you found this very interesting and insightful, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and you can take a step further and leave a comment for us. All these help the channel grow. Thank you. See you in the next one.